Las Vegas, famous for its gambling. And there is a Vegas rule, like in whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. A variation of this rule is often heard in meetings. Whatever is discussed in this room stays in this room. Or this is a safe space to talk. Speak up, speak your mind. What does that really mean? This is a very common example of creating psychological safety for participants of that particular meeting. Discussions about psychological safety are on the rise these days. But what is psychological safety? By definition, it is a shared belief that you will not be punished, embarrassed, or rejected for speaking up. Though it is often associated with high performance teams, it is generally applicable to any workplace or any working relationship or any relationship for that matter. That means even in your daily work, daily routine business ops, if you notice something that is not working or is counterproductive, you should be able to speak up without any repercussions. So it is related to trust. Great. But if we are talking about workplace, who is responsible to create psychological safety? Now that's $1 million question. Satisfaction Farm has a different outlook on it, but first let's see the standard view. In the standard view of psychological safety, it is of course management's or leadership's responsibility to create it for employees. Of course, this takes time, has cultural components, and as it is management driven, it must start from the top, all the way from the top, from the CEO, or even higher, from the board of directors. Now that's a pretty heavy lift. Got it? It's management's responsibility. But how to create it? Logical question. The standard view steps are engaging with authenticity, leading with empathy, approaching problems with curiosity, listening actively, practicing humble inquiry, building culture where mistakes or failures are okay, so on and so forth. Of course, you will find a few additional steps or variations of these steps. Now you must be thinking, that's great, but why should I care? Let's go there now. Remember I said we have a different outlook? Let's talk about that. As you saw, for example, out of many steps management can take to create psychological safety, let's pick one. Create the culture where it's okay to fail or make mistakes. Now think, if you make a mistake on your job, different mistakes, once, twice, thrice, what would happen? What would happen if you make mistakes while working with patients? Reflect on the answer. And suppose, even if an individual manager attempts to create psychological safety, it is impossible to do so without everyone above him or her acting in the same way. Walking the talk is difficult when it comes to mistakes or failures. Even if learning from mistakes or failures is the way to grow, to learn, on the job or real-time mistakes, failures could be costly and they may jeopardize your true north or even the mission. Instead of depending on the management to create psychological safety, you must create your own psychologically safe workplace. It's more empowering to do so. Why should you go deeper into this? Like we saw, creating psychological safety is a heavy lift and depends upon leadership. But it affects you. It affects your well-being. It affects your satisfaction. Let's see if you see psychological safety in this example. A nurse sees a doctor not sanitizing his hands while going between patient rooms. She decides not to speak up because he's not seeing her patients. What do you think would be the long-term consequences of this situation? How would you approach similar situations and create psychological safety for yourself? Can you figure out links between psychological safety, trust, motivation, toxic work culture, and burnout? Dive deep into the Leader Kundali to find out answers. Don't forget to watch our situational case studies where the rubber meets the road.